Liberal sympathies. A Reserve Bank board member abandons neutrality to attack Kevin Rudd.
I'm calling on Roger Corbett to do the right thing and resign as a member of the Reserve Bank board.
Surely we're not attempting to gag people just because they're senior business people.
Mick Gatto comes out swinging over a new law that would take away his boxing promoter's licence.
Look, the industry's been going fine since Moby Dick was a sardine.
Progress on the long road back for a footballer paralysed in an on-field collision.
It's a big motivation as well to get back as much as I can before that time to, hold the baby in my arms.
And London's Skyscraper, the high-rise building that's melting cars and starting fires. Good evening, Ian Henderson with ABC News. A key Labor senator is demanding the resignation of a Reserve Bank board member over an extraordinary outburst against Kevin Rudd. The bank's board is normally reserved about politics, but Roger Corbett chose the final days of the campaign to call the Prime Minister discredited and say he'd done enormous damage to Labor. It's since emerged that Mr Corbett is a member of the Liberal Party and Mr Rudd's campaign team is furious. From Canberra, Mark Simpkin reports.
Kevin's campaign workers.
Hang on, guys.
Completely and utterly selfie-obsessed.
Treatment. Kerry Ritchie, ABC News, Melbourne.
The Air Force has said goodbye to the last of its F-111s more than 40 years after the fighter jets first arrived at Queensland's Amberley Air Base. They could fly at supersonic speeds, but today's departure was a bit more sedate than that.
The final flight of Australia's last F-111 will be as a passenger. It's the last of the RAAF's former strike.
Meadows and Geelong production lines in October 2016. So do finance, and the Australian dollar continued to rise after today's quarterly growth figures. But as Phil Lasker reports, the GDP data suggests the economy is still sluggish.
It's remarkable when you think about it. 22 years since the last recession. Australia's economy grew by 0.6% during the June quarter and 2.6% for the year. Not strong enough to stop after 4 up days. And that's finance.
Port Adelaide players say the memory of John McCarthy will inspire them when they take on Collingwood in Saturday night's AFL elimination final at the MCG. McCarthy played for both clubs, and as Kelly Underwood reports, the match will take place almost a year to the day since his sudden death on an end-of-season trip to Las Vegas.
A year on, and the emotion is still raw for many of the Port Adelaide players.
I think about him before every game and going out there, running around. He's always in the back of my mind, so I guess it's motivated me a bit.
John McCarthy's
the first time in the season opener against the Victory next month. And so to the weather with Vanessa OHanlon.
Thanks, Ian. With warm settling across the state, it's Melbourne's warmest start to spring since records began back in 1855. The temperatures overnight stayed well above average, up to 9 degrees in the southwest. Corryong and Rutherglen had a low of 5. During the day, most until Wednesday, with temperatures of 15 degrees. A little wintry there, Ian.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Finally tonight, a distinctive new skyscraper in central London is earning notoriety by literally putting the heat on its neighbours. Dubbed the walkie-talkie because of its shape, the curved glass building is getting a bad name for concentrating to block the reflected heat while they work on a permanent solution. Now, before we go, here again at tonight's main stories. Labor Senator Doug Cameron demands the resignation of Reserve Bank board member Roger Corbett for attacking Kevin Rudd in the final days of the campaign. It's since emerged that Mr Corbett is a member of the Liberal Party, and Mr Rudd's campaign team is furious. Tony Abbott says people shouldn't be gagged just because they're in business. Underworld identity Mick Gatto surrenders his boxing promoter's licence ahead of government moves to crack down on so-called undesirables in the sport. And Gold Coast teenager Jaga O'Meara wins the AFL's Rising Star Award for this year. And that's it for this evening's bulletin. On 7:30 with Lee Sales, Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott slug it out over who can better manage the economy. That's next.